Major funding for this program was made possible by UPMC, with additional major funding from Edgar Snyder and Associates. Thank you.
I live on Hawthorne Avenue. This house, when it was snowing, that hill right there was one of the best hills in the world to come down on a sled ride. And part of my paper route was going up these hills. So yes, it was a workout. And as you can see from some of these here, we would get here and throw the paper up. Matter of fact, one of the throws I had was right here. I used to throw it from here to that porch. I used to throw from here to that porch, having to get over that rail. And if I didn't make it over the rail, I'd go pick up the paper again. Like, oh. But we had them. That was part of my paper route. Right here is my home, 68 Hawthorne Avenue. That's where I grew up. Father taught me 3 things. He says, never quit. You quit once, you'll quit again. So he talked about being resilient. You get knocked down, just get back up. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. And like, okay. The second thing he used to say is you gotta work harder than the other person. And he used to say, it's what you do when nobody else is looking. I always will remember that. What you do when nobody else is looking. We all do the things in front of a coach or in front of a teacher or in front of a parent, like you want to impress them. But what sacrifices do you make? Instead of going down to the pool, Crafton pool, why don't you go in that weight room back there and just lift a little bit? Okay. Then the last thing was never be intimidated by anyone or anything. Self-confidence. So he made sure, he goes, it's hard for others to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Have confidence in what you're doing. Doesn't mean you're gonna be successful all the time. Just be confident in who you are as a person. Understand what your limitations are, but understand also that there's nothing that can stop you from being special. And so, okay, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, the colors will be popping today. Ooh-wee.
Let's get one thing straight. I'm not as used to this as Coach is.
Say that one more time for me. Say that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The colors will be popping today. Next week, it'll be 2, orange, yellow, and red. Right now, it's a perfect mixture.
Like Coach, I was born here and played here. And there's only a lucky few that have had that experience. We know that there's a special bond between this city and its sports, no matter the game. I think through the experience of those athletes and their stories, you can see the story of the city itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, since retiring, I like to say I've been forced into playing more golf. So, you know, I'm gonna put my best foot forward today and show Rocco that he's not just gonna, you know, he's not just gonna push me over, but I might just give him $100 on the first tee and say, hey, let's just have fun today, and maybe I can win a little back. Doubtful. I'm more nervous walking up to 3 people instead of playing in front of 40,000 fans. I'm more nervous doing this.
What's going on? How you doing, son?
They get right up on top of us.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're gonna be playing with Rocco Mediate. Its kind of background speaks for itself, still on the Champions Tour.
Look at that right there.
From Greensburg, PA, I was a huge fan of his growing up.
Oh, man, I thought we was hitting this direction. I thought I would be lining right here, like here I am, right there.
Charlie Batch, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback and local legend. And Carole Semple Thompson from Sewickley, PA, was one of the best female golfers that to come out of this region around here.
Well, I have nightmares about my golf.
Short-term memory loss is better?
I have nightmares that I'm naked on the first tee.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. That's not good.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one for me.
We're going to have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk about this region. We're going to play some golf. And we're going to let Rocco and Carole, Charlie and I are going to let them beat the crap out of us. So.
I mean, I probably went, what, 310, 320?
Oh, at least. At least.
I hit it easy, though.
And mine was at least 270.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Onward.
Starting your day off on the course is all well and good. But if you grew up in Pittsburgh, you know sunrise means getting to work. And the work this city is famous for, and still does, is making steel.
This is the Edgar Thompson work. This is Andrew Carnegie's first steel mill. He built this in 1875. So this year, the Edgar Thompson plant will be operated for 150 years, something that we're very proud of.
So this plant produces about 2.8 million tons of steel a year. Yeah.
At its height, the Pittsburgh area boasted over 100 steel mills. Now there's just a few left, but the grand dam of them all is still running.
You can just feel that heat, you know, you can feel the heat. We're gonna stay in the safe zone, but this is about 200 tons of liquid iron.
Huge amounts of raw materials moved in titanic machines at temperatures I can't even comprehend are what it takes to make steel. And just standing in the presence of all this is enough to make it clear how steel built all that this region was to become.
I mean, Oakmont is Pittsburgh. You know, the club was founded by Henry Phones, who was a steel man, made his fortune in iron and steel, and, you know, that's what Pittsburgh was built off, was, you know, blood, sweat, and tears and steel. It's a huge legacy in the game of golf. I mean, basically every decade since the 1920s, excepting for a decade of World War, the U.S. Open has come to Oakmont. And as time has gone on, the club has continued to, you know, change and evolve and really become one of the leaders in the game, and that's why the U.S. Open returns.
A newly selected anchor site for future U.S. Opens, the history of the game here makes that decision obvious.
And this photo here, the changing of the guard, as it's been dubbed, is the handshake after Jack beat Arnie in the playoff in '62. And ironically enough, this photo could be referred to as the original concession because Jack did not finish the 18th hole when that photo was snapped. Everybody expected Bobby Jones to win and proceeded to have his worst career finish in the United States Open Championship here at Oakmont. We did ask Jim Fiore what was said, and apparently he knew that Tiger and his wife, who were married at that point and about to have their first daughter, were down to 2 names, and he leaned in and asked if he was still going to name his daughter Angel. And as it turned out, Samantha Woods was born just a couple days later. Ernie gets a little overshadowed, but for good reason. This was Arnold Palmer's 5th and final U.S. Open at Oakmont, it's kind of like Bill Mazeroski's home run. Everybody will tell you that they were at Forbes Field that day, and there are probably 100,000 people out there that will tell you they were here for Arnie's final round in 1994.
Almost a century's worth of Opens and counting, and after all these stories, it makes one wonder what might happen next.
David, we're settled in now to the 1953 U.S. Open. Of course, Ben Hogan, the winner that week of that year. Talk to us about this particular time and era. The course was getting ready to go through some changes. Was that a directly result from this U.S. Open, or had that been in the works going into this Open?
It was a total direct result of this Open. As the story goes, after Hogan dominated to his 4th and final U.S. Open championship title, Herbert Warren Wynn, the notorious golf writer for The New Yorker, wrote that Oakmont was an ugly old brute of a golf course. And the members had no problem with the term brute. This place has been called everything from Hades off Holton over the years. But the fact that Wynn called this place ugly did not sit well with the members. And as a direct result, some 5,000 trees were planted on the golf course over the next decade, totally changing the makeup of the course from an inland link style golf course that Henry Phones designed to a more traditional American parkland course that you would see, such as Augusta National or Baltus Roll or Oak Hill, places like that.
And now, has the actual layout of the holes changed from 1 through 18? Has it ever changed, or has it changed at any point?
The biggest change to the golf course has really been the introduction and the takedown of the trees. The 8th green moved slightly, very slightly, maybe 20 yards, if that many, to accommodate the turnpike in the 1950s. But other than that, you know, the layout, the routing is all the same from when Henry Phones designed it in 1903.
Golf is a game a lot of people think of as trapped in time, but it's always a product of its surroundings, just like the rest of us.
As I see it now, that's young and naive, okay? That's young and naive. A guy who thought he could do it all, got knocked down many times along the way, put in his place many times in his way by a lot of different people. He thought he had the answers. He had the 1-2, but it took a lot of people to help him become the person he is today. Mr. Jones, my math teacher in Carleton High School, I'll give him credit to this day why I think I was a very good NFL football coach, because I could work the clock. I knew numbers. And it started here with him making me embrace the concept of math. You're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as they say you are. That's a perspective in life that gives you the constant sense of purpose. And you're shaped that way at an early age.
Alone, iron is brittle and easily corroded. But with the right process and given time, pressure, and exotic ingredients, it can become infinitely stronger and more flexible.
So my father, in the late 50s, decided that not everyone was able to get into Allegheny Country Club in Sewickley Heights. So he thought there should be another golf course, and he decided that he'd build a golf course on the next hill over, and they called it Sewickley Heights Golf Club. And that was really for people who were not able to join the exclusive club of Allegheny.
Ball.
I couldn't see it.
Nope. Now, when you were younger and learning to play golf too, especially in that area, how many other women or young ladies were you seeing out on the golf course?
Not many. Yeah. I played a lot of golf by myself, but I had family support. My mother played a lot of golf. Yeah. And we played together a lot, and I had 4 siblings, and we all had to play golf. My father decided that we had to learn to play well enough.
Right.
The rule was you had to learn to play well enough to break 90, and then you could quit.
Well, that worked for you. Wow,
it worked for me. It didn't work so well for my siblings. They pretty much quit. But.
There are only 4 people to have won 3 different USGA individual championship events. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Joanne Carner, Tiger Woods, and Carole Semple Thompson. And while Carole never turned pro, she's one of the most dominant players in the history of the game.
Now, this isn't going to show where the ball goes, right?
In the hole. No. We'll put it where you think it's going to go.
Okay.
How about right at the flag is where it's going?
Big hop.
Oh, look.
yes.
We're not going to show where the ball is. Right up by the flag. Yeah, okay. All right.
Get lucky once in a while.
Carole's on my team.
This is unbelievable. It's a history lesson in addition to a golf lesson. So it's pretty cool just hearing all the stories and everything that they bring to the game. It's amazing to just be a part of. Yeah, I'll carry this.
I think Carole's sitting at about 10 feet.
I'll carry this scramble.
She knew something we didn't know.
She did.
She was out here this morning earlier.
Right.
I'm on the green in 2, in regulation.
How about your foursome?
And the other guys are three and 4 strokes, I think.
Hey, calm down over there. You just settle down over there.
So I was pretty lucky on my second shot. Just happened to bounce the right way.
Since 1984, researchers at the Carnegie Mellon Robotics Institute have been working on the development of outdoor mobile robots.
I was always a student of the game, knowing there's an art to baseball as well as a science. A good reminder that the city relies on its minds as much as its metal.
Got it. Okay. I'm not much of a gamer, but this has me hooked right here.
Carnegie Tech was actually founded as a school to train the children of steelworkers so that they had a better future. And I think that's such a critical mission when we think about this. And we think about sort of what's important in the country right now. You know, education and investment in education pays intergenerational dividends. And I have to believe that all the young people that come through our doors are going to go out there and build a better world. And so I think that dream of doing that is carried through.
Do you guys never get to see this? Oh, it's just down the hall. We're just right down there. You know, I don't think it's going to attack us. But it's still very small, so we'll be all right.
Am I messing?
Yeah, we're working on it. You know, do your laundry next. That's the next goal.
You know, when we think about sort of the culture of people from Pittsburgh, one of the things that really stands out is that it's a really hardworking group of people, and I think that culture that sort of suffuses everything that we do here is so important when you think about things like robotics. Robotics is really hard. Yeah. One of the hardest things in the world, and every time this robot breaks, it takes real determination and hard work to keep it going, and we see all these benefits to that sort of ethos that we have here in Pittsburgh, where people stay at companies longer than they would in other kind of tech hubs. They work harder for those companies, and I think they really believe in the mission. And I think that's the big difference that Rust Belt cities have from maybe some of these more traditional coastal hubs. People here really care about trying to build something, and I think that was the ethos that brought steel to Pittsburgh and made Pittsburgh so successful with steel, and I think that's the ethos that's going to bring robotics to the world.
I was wrong before. I said steel built us. But those furnaces, they weren't fired by anything but the raw power of the people manning them.
What are you working on here, Cory?
This is a scene of steel mills from Homestead. So I work from historic photos. I work from going to these spaces in person and sketching there. But this one just has such a great feel where you can see how close the houses and businesses were to these mills. I mean, like, they were the center of everything in the community. And when they were decommissioned and lost, these communities kind of collapsed around it. The whole economy. It wasn't just jobs that were lost, but these guys that worked in the mills and women that worked in the mills, every day they were creating something, and they were creating the world around us, the foundations of our modern society. And there's a huge amount of meaning that comes along with that. When they left work, they could see the fruits of their labor. They could point out to their kids, like, we built this. Yeah. And when the mills were lost, so was all that meaning.
Sure. Do you ever stop and think, or does it ever make you nostalgic or sad about the significance of this region?
I think the thing I think about the most is when I was growing up here in the 80s, that was kind of the height of the, losing these mills. And the whole region had a low self-esteem problem. And in order to make it, especially as an artist, I was kind of told you have to get out of the city and go somewhere else. But, after going through school and coming back, I could see things, coming back. And I realized, through this work and understanding just how ingenious and innovative the people were that, built everything in these mills. They were working without any of the technology we have today and still overcoming incredible obstacles and solving big problems daily, just all the time. I realized that, the most valuable resource they had was human ingenuity and spirit. And that human ingenuity and spirit, I think it's everywhere, but it's really concentrated here in Pittsburgh. And there's this, great feeling of super intelligent people who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty here. And I've seen Pittsburgh come back through the universities, the medical centers, and now, the tech boom in here. It's as if it's coming full circle, and I think people just need to be reminded that at the core of it all is just that human ingenuity and spirit.
Graduated in 1975, and I got to be honest, I don't think anything's changed. Our offense was pretty good. When we came down, scored at this end, parking lot, our field goal kicker would kick the extra point. Get down to that end, the guy was not a nice guy. He won't give the ball back. So a lot of times, I think our coach decided to go for two. I think when you grow up here, you don't identify it as struggle. You identify it as a way of life. So I appreciated having this field to be able to play sports on, to get away from it. Sports was a way of having a degree of balance in your life, because the other side of it wasn't going to be all games. It was a place I was always proud to be from, never a place I thought I'd ever come back to. Little did I know that, leaving here, that like 15 years later, I'll be coming back here. And so, it's like one's journey, the circle of life. It's just funny how it works out.
There we go. Maybe one of the best views in all of baseball right here, maybe all of sports. You can see 3 bridges from up here. You can see the Allegheny River, downtown Pittsburgh, and probably one of the best seats to watch a baseball game, too. You grew up wanting to be a baseball player. I know that's what I wanted to do. My dad and uncle played, my brothers played. I was the youngest of 4. And I had dreams of playing. Never forget it. As an 8, 9, 10-year-old wanting to play Major League Baseball, but more than that, wanted to play here in Pittsburgh. And I'm one of the very few that got to live that dream out. I think kids that set out and people that set out to get to the highest point of their profession, especially in the sports world, you find out very early that talent only takes you so far, and you have to work. You have to want it. You have to want to find out how good you can be and where your talent can go. And I think that especially in this region, in this blue-collar, hard-working region of Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio and Northern West Virginia, you see a lot of that. You see, the coal mines aren't quite as prevalent as they once were. The iron and steel factories are not what they once were, but how can I make the most of what I think I can be? All right, Charlie, I think we're right next to each other. Right down that beautiful tree. All right, Charlie, y'all drove me by a little bit. Now, let me ask you, I was born and raised north of the city, about 20 miles. You're from near downtown, near Homestead. You have an interesting background with family in the steel industry, and I'm curious how that's shaped who you were and who you became, and how you've seen things evolve in this region more than anything else.
Yeah, having a grandfather who grew up in the steel mills, he would talk a lot about those stories. You know, as the steel mills kind of evolved and they were phased out, you see that transformation happening, and we were one of the first areas to actually have that happen. But I think you appreciate it more as you grow up.
One after another, the mills closed. Whole sections of the city, whole towns and suburbs found themselves out of work with few options. Homestead, Charlie's hometown, was particularly hit hard, and like many areas, the economic depression led to all sorts of challenges and despair. And yet, in spite of it all, Charlie Batch always remembered where he was from. He's one of the best of us.
Yeah, I think, you know, just from here and where we are now, it's literally a 10-minute drive down to the Steelers facility. So when you're that close, you know, it's one of those things where, like, man, I want to don that black and gold one day, so the dream is always there. But that was all kind of before, you know, the Best of the Batch Foundation was created, and it wasn't until 1996 is when I lost my sister to senseless gang violence. And at that particular point, I said if I was ever in position to give back, I would. And ultimately was able to be drafted in 1998. And January of 1999, that's when the foundation was started. So we did some one-off programs in Detroit, and then when I had the opportunity to come here to Pittsburgh, I didn't know how long I was going to be here, and thought it was okay. 1 year, that was it. And ultimately tried to put things in motion. We had 125 kids, 25 volunteers that first year.
Wow.
And by the year 2, we were at 300 kids and over 100 volunteers, so we knew we were on to something.
Sure. Wow.
This is our gymnasium here. Walk around track, because a lot of our seniors can't afford gym memberships.
Okay.
Gaming here, coding on these 2 machines here. We're adding a couple more machines there because the kids really love the code. Economics back, because a lot of they took that out of schools. These kids don't know how to cook anymore. So what we're going to do is teach them how to cook. So everything in here is high-end residential, not high-end commercial. We provide the space, but we work with a group called Tech 25.
Okay.
And they'll come over here and they'll teach all the kids from there. So they'll teach them podcasts, videography, how to be a DJ. Right now, this is a heavy TikTok room. So they love their TikTok, they're doing their dances, they learn how to do it. So it's pretty cool. We don't charge anything for anybody to come in this building.
That's like a community-wide thing?
Correct, yes.
Wow, Charlie, that's amazing.
How you been? Good.
The Best of the Batch now serves over 4,000 children year-round. They provide health and educational services. No winning record required.
That's what you want to do? You want to beat me just in front of the camera like that? What you laughing at? What you laughing at, huh? You want some of this too?
Yes.
There's a proud tradition in Pittsburgh of sports legends doing their part to affect change in the city they serve.
I think when you look at change, I think, you know, giving kids more options as it relates to what their future looks like. And I think, you know, for here, even building the building, right? You know, you don't wrap around here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm gonna get on her when she walked in the building. I'm gonna get on her because she did not. Pull on to the side.
Okay.
You see these white lines? Well, the one you crossed was yellow. Yes, let's use the white. Yeah, because I only saw you look right, not left, and we almost.
Yes, I did.
That's why we. Yeah, we almost. I know.
No cutting corners at the Best of the Batch Foundation. We know that, and we saw it in action right there. Oh, great shot, Charlie. Get going. Beauty. That saying is really tremendous, too. I think you saw that probably in the going down to the field. That's everywhere, like the spring training complex, and especially the young guys coming up through the organization. That's everywhere. And that's kind of the rally cry for, you know, you start to dig in who this guy was in the 70s. He was essentially an icon for the Latin community. I mean, it was being a part of the '71 World Series team. I mean, holy cow, what a life a guy lived, right? I'll never forget, it was in September, the Boston Red Sox came into town. I think it was 2013 maybe, and we were playing here at PNC Park, and the Clemente family comes, and anytime I saw them, I got a little nostalgic, and every time Vera, I'd say, thank you, Vera, and she wouldn't know why I'd say that most of the time, but, you know, thank you to the boys for essentially saving me and my siblings' lives. But this particular night, I was sitting on 20 home runs, and about my third or fourth at bat, I hit a ball over the 21-foot wall, just over the 21-foot Clemente wall in right field for my 21st home run. It was the only time I've ever trotted around the bases in my life and felt weightless and felt like that connection was something bigger than baseball. And I'll never forget that. And you know, getting to run out on the field, and every time I'd run out at the field at home, I'd be staring as a second baseman directly at that wall, and I would try to, you know, give a tip of the cap or say a little something during the national anthem. I mean, this is just pure perfection down here, this Clemente Museum, and everything this man stood for. As my dad told the story, back in '72, going into '73, a New Year's Eve, he was playing winter ball in Puerto Rico near San Juan, and obviously the story with Roberto Clemente is told that he put a humanitarian effort together for an earthquake in Nicaragua, and he got a plane, he got a pilot, and he got stuff from the people on the island to put on the plane to take to Nicaragua. And when a lot of the guys found out that he was putting this mission together, they wanted to go, they wanted to help, they wanted to do what they could. And my dad, as well as many others, were actually at the airport the day that plane was getting loaded. And they were fully prepared to get on that plane with Roberto and the pilot. And at the very last minute, Roberto said, you know, this plane's too full. Just let me and the pilot go. We'll get the stuff off, and then we'll jump back. And, you know, still a lot of the guys that were there helping load the plane were like, no, we'll sit on boxes. We'll play cards and have a couple libations and help you when you land, get the stuff off. And Clemente was very adamant that nobody go except for him and the pilot. And plane takes off and goes down right off the coast of San Juan. And the rest is kind of history, as they say. But I certainly wouldn't be doing this interview here today, and my siblings would never have been born. And if this man right here, essentially saved my life and the life of many others that were there that day that he didn't allow to get on that plane. This is my favorite spot, even though I didn't get to watch a ton of games from in here. So this down here is my personal favorite row in the club level, but also kind of nostalgic. Oh, wow, they haven't replaced the backs of these yet.
When he passed, the Pirates kindly gave me the seats my father routinely sat in when I played here. But sports to him, like Charlie and Roberto, were always just a means to an end.
The biggest thing I remember him telling me was, you know, the sun will come out tomorrow. I think that's... through the good, the bad, you know, you learn a lot. And I think having support and having somebody that had that perspective of, hey, you went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts last night. You know, that wasn't important to him. It was, are you being a good teammate? Are you doing the best you can? And are you being a good role model? All those things are just so important. And that phrase has never lost on me. And I tell that to my kids, even though they're younger. You know, it's never as bad as you think. It's never as good as you think, and you have to find a way to mentally ride that wave of life. And at the end of the day, the sun is going to come up tomorrow. And being here a year after my dad's passing, it certainly hits me hard.
To come back to Pittsburgh was in 1992. When I got the call, I was 34 years old. My first thoughts were, well, you know what? If I don't screw this up, I can go back to in 3 years, I can go back to my 20th high school class reunion as a head coach of my hometown team. So my first goal was don't get fired in the first 3 years. 15 years here, and in the 14th year, we won a championship. You know, you become the hometown kid who came back home and won one, and what can we do for you? Can we name a bridge, a street, something after you? And honestly, it never really, no other thought came to my mind. I go, no, it's an alley. That's who I am. I'm a kid from Crafton. We threw baseballs with my dad in a cinder alley. It's the dirty things, the nitty-gritty things, the little things you did as a kid, the sacrifices you were asked to make. Don't forget how you got here. Never forget where you came from. This alley. Cowher Way is a little bit of a reminder of the cinder, the rocks, the lessons learned, the molding of who you are, shaped on who you are, because of the nitty-gritty things you did, the sacrifices you made, the people who loved you and pushed you, your parents, your friends, the opportunity to represent this community, and to be blessed to have the opportunity to do that.
Pittsburgh's grit has borne all sorts of stars, but few like its modern anthem maker, Wiz Khalifa.
My whole style and everything is influenced by Pittsburgh. Like you said, that whole blue-collar lifestyle, like I got a thermal on now.
Black and Yellow, Wiz's 2010 worldwide hit and 6-time platinum song in the U.S., put him and Taylor Gang on the map.
It just spawned a whole lifestyle and a whole attitude and a whole sense of pride in yourself and like working hard and everything that, you know, Taylor Gang was, is, and will be.
Sure. You know, when you think about Pittsburgh and you think about the amount of time you spent there in your career, is there any particular memories that really pop out in your head when you think about Pittsburgh in general?
I think being a kid and listening to Whammo, like listening to the radio, that was a big thing for me. That did a lot for me mentally. I would say, you know, recording at ID Labs, that was a really good time for me, just finding my whole style and meeting people who, you know, I'm still friends with now to this day. Like, these are lifelong friends. Having just the system that you're used to growing up with and, you know what I mean, being comfortable around. Some people work better like that.
Be more creative, sometimes get more creative.
Yeah, some people need that hometown sauce.
Yeah.
Taylor Gang is now turning out hits and stars over and over again, thanks to the passion and hard work this city is famous for.
Wiz just happened to wander into the studio when he was 16. Immediately, I could see that, like, he had something, you know, just in terms of charisma and personality that, you know, I really hadn't, like, encountered, you know, working with local artists. So we, out of that, just started working together and you know, developed this relationship. We decided to, you know, work on music together and just try and build something. When Wiz, it really broke, that was just such a huge thing for the city and really went beyond, you know, any of my expectations for it.
And then Mac following it up was,
yeah, it was
double
like
down.
Lightning striking twice. That sort of blew the doors wide open, I think.
Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that stuff.
When I got the black and yellow car, that summer, that was like a really good time because I had glimpses of making it, you know, with the music thing. But that summer, it was really locked in and it was official. And I was shooting my own videos. I had my content. I was on the road. I was dropping mixtapes. It was a really clear lane for me to do my thing and represent the Burgh at the same time.
At first, I was like, dude, if we can get $1,000 a show, we are gonna be killing it. And then as it grew, you know, seeing to like the venues we took and the path we took and how we tour and how we move, it's just bigger than I could have ever thought, imagined. It was like, dude, we're really doing something here. Like, people in Ohio want to see Wiz. That's crazy.
I just remember I wanted this Challenger so bad, and I was like dreaming about it on the road. Like, I was just dreaming about the Challenger. And I was like, as soon as I get home, I'm using some of this freaking tour money, and I'm getting me a SRT 8 Dodge Challenger. I think it was 2010. Yeah. So when I go to write the song, I'm like, I just bought the car, and it ended up being black and yellow. Like, that was the one that they had, like, in the thing. And I was like, I gotta make the song. Like, it just came natural. I was like, I just gotta make the song. Yeah, I was like, I gotta make the song.
Seeing that come together, making the record, like, I sat in the booth with Wiz when he made it, and just going through the countless mixes, there was a whole nother part of the hook that was a huge discussion that we all talked about, like that being in the song or not, and like having people like Lil Wayne remix it, you know, it just exploded it.
The very first piece of press that we got was a little blurb that's up here somewhere in Rolling Stone. And that was so wild to me to see, you know, just Wiz in Rolling Stone and you know, Rolling Stone talking to this Pittsburgh artist. And I called Wiz to say, like, man, I can't believe, you know, I'm seeing this. And he was like, I can believe it, you know? I knew this was gonna happen. It was really cool for that moment in time, too, to see, like, Pittsburgh so represented, like, in the music world and hip-hop culture and in the sports world simultaneously. That was all happening that year. Such a cool moment for Pittsburgh, I felt like, you know.
Yeah, I definitely feel proud that it became the anthem of the city, the status of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a dream come true for somebody like me.
Pittsburgh anthem, man. It's great.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Do you want to just like jump into the verse right after that? Yeah.
Okay, and oh, I'm just a boss, Pittsburgh figure, Mr. Northside.
So Wiz put me to the test. He'll come to the studio. I'm like, all right, we make the song, we freestyle it though, like, bro, he got a party, and I've never been in the studio when there's like a party, so now I'm just addicted at this point. There's Wendy's everywhere, there's so much food, we are just going crazy, there's people everywhere. I make the song, it'll go crazy, bang, so they come in there and give me my papers, I sign the papers, I come home, sold out show, rolled at my hands. I know what come with Taylor Gang, you're going on tour, that's just everything. Like, you're going on tour, you're going to be a real artist when you're on Taylor Gang, you're going to get put in front of the world.
Taylor Gang is a lifestyle and helped save my life and the people that I'm still with today. And everybody has a different connection with Taylor Gang. And then just as time went on, I was able to see how positive of an impact it had on the generations after us.
And oh, I'm just a boss, Pittsburgh figure.
That's cool.
That's cool. It's Mr. No I was trying to clean the whole song in my head.
To see it now, where it's like, it's how much they can help each other. Sure. And I love to see that energy. We just share everything that's new and up and coming.
Pittsburgh people take care of their own, right?
Literally.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's like almost a rallying cry per se to this region is like, you know, we're gonna ride together and we're gonna
we stick
die together, right?
And
Like,
so when it go, and when it's time for the next ones, when I get into my position, then Will, they going out, yo, hey, this is who you need to listen to. Bring them up, like pull them up. We gonna keep it going. It's gonna go forever.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm just a boss Pittsburgh figure. And oh, that's it right there.
Cool. No way I just cleaned the song on the fly like that. That's how you do that right there. Thank you.
Industry made us a melting pot, and the need for industrious labor meant immigrants flooded into the city, bringing with them the taste and the grit it's now known for. And they're still coming, just from new places with new flavors. But that grit still comes standard.
I have to say one of my favorite memories of the Pittsburgh food scene back in the day is pretty simple. My grandparents would take me for a hot dog boiled in beer at Lum's. And that was like the big gourmet lunch. And I wanted to share that story because I think it really is a little key into something important about Pittsburgh. Does anybody have an old school story about Pittsburgh's food scene? Because I'm old enough to remember when there were still neighborhood niches of particular kinds of cooking and how meat and potatoes it was.
Being at my grandmother's house early Sunday morning and smelling Frankie's hot dog shop in Lawrenceville, the onions coming over in Zatna, and I was fortunate enough to work at some of those restaurants when I was younger, like Tambellini's and Rico's. The old school Pittsburgh scene is definitely special to me.
Old school Pittsburgh to me is definitely the Carlton, fine dining. And I think, you know, that's continued on to what I'm currently doing up at Altius. We still do fine dining. There's so much that I learned there that we continue to do. I do believe that things have evolved, but I think that at its core, I definitely started there and really gained so much from the Carlton.
What was your ideas and thoughts of what the scene was like here, whether it be 10, 15, 20 years ago, to where it is that you're currently experiencing now?
There's nothing that won't work in Pittsburgh. I think people are willing to push the envelope and push the edge as to really small niche concepts. Over the years, Pittsburgh's evolved. I think the restaurateurs who live here and the chefs who live here are being very experiential and experimenting with things that are above and beyond cool, and it's resonating with that new population of Pittsburgh. So we've changed, and even to your point, the areas that are successful now. When we were growing up, the Strip District was not what it is today. It's kind of a little mini version of meatpacking New York. It was blue collar. It was where the produce came in, where the meats came in, the fish came in, and now it's one of the hottest trade areas in the whole entire country. And the same thing with Lawrenceville and East Liberty and East Side. These areas that are old-time Pittsburgh that had gone by the wayside are now being revitalized, largely led by the food scene. And that's what's driving the excitement in those trade areas.
Pittsburgh is more international today than it's ever been, and you have more and more people coming in with different cultural and ethnic palettes. But on a much lighter note, I think you've officially become a Pittsburgher when your shortcut takes longer than the regular way.
But it feels better, right?
It's so much better.
You're not stopped. You're continuing to move.
I'm always trying to thrive for the first thing.
First baby.
First baby. Umame was the first izakaya, Japanese pub, you know, a ramen spot, a full-scale ramen restaurant was one of the first, now one of the first full-scale Cantonese dim sum parlors. So risk is always, especially in the restaurant business, but taking risks for cocktails, we encourage it. We encourage whoever's making the cocktails. Obviously, it goes through multiple testings and, you know, criticisms, but I think we don't want to be the same as what everybody else is doing.
I am a competitive person. I'm in competition with everybody around me, but it's not like we're competing against each other. Every place in Pittsburgh has a hamburger. I'm not competing with anyone. We just do what we do, and that's that. But you help each other out if you need it, and I think that's what I think that's Pittsburgh.
It just continues to keep pulling you back, right? I mean, I know a lot of you have left for periods of time,
I've tried to leave so
right?
many times. Yeah, I love it. That might be more Pittsburgh. You just can't leave.
I don't actually think we have competition, and I believe that. I think the only competition we have is ourselves, because people are going to try our restaurants. If they come back, it's because we did a good job. If it's not because they're going somewhere else, no one's eating in any restaurant every night of the week, every day of the year. So we all support each other, and I think it's what's great about Pittsburgh is we want new things to survive. We want new things to succeed. And so when something opens up that's new and on the fringe or really, as a Pittsburgher, I'm hugely proud of them. I think we all promote trying new and different things, and if we all support that, we're only going to get better as a community and as a city.
I heard you say this, Herky, and it's something my grandfather used to say. You have to leave it better than you found it. And that's a real Pittsburgher. Well, delicious always wins in Pittsburgh, so here's to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Cheers all. Thank you.
It's clear this place has a message for those who will listen and those willing to pass it on.
Now, Rock, I know you have a connection with Arnie, and I actually do as well. Would you believe that he and I share the same birthday?
That's a cool thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But that's where it ends for me.
That's where it's done, yeah.
But for you, of course, he obviously, we know how much he means to you. And what are the things that really stood out and stand out to you about your relationship with him? And
he taught me more how to be, not necessarily as a golfer too, obviously, but how to be with people. He was about the people. He was the people, and he wanted me to look people in the eye. Like when I was a kid, I'd look like this because I couldn't look anybody. I was too shy.
Yeah,
that's changed. Learning from him and how to be is the thing. It's like all the time he said it's real easy to talk to the press after 66.
Yeah.
Can you do it after 75?
Yeah.
Same way.
Yeah. Now, Rock, is there any one moment, whether it be golf-related or non-golf related with Arnie that sticks out to you more than anything else?
U.S. Open in '94. Yeah, right, yeah. His last Open at Oakmont.
Not a thing of great beauty, but you know, it never was. That was part of the daring and the excitement and the wonder of Arnold 20, 30 years ago.
I played with him the first 2 rounds, and it was, I can't even explain it. But coming up the last hole, and my back was a wreck before that. I wasn't supposed to play, but they asked me if I'm going to play, would I play with him? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You can't even, the world stopped.
It's, it's been 40 years, and when you walk up the 18th and you get an ovation like that, I guess that says it all.
As we're walking off the green, I said, this is all because of you.
Yeah.
And he lost it right there. I got him. It was good. The Open in Oakmont with him is unmatchable to anything I've ever felt. Winning, whatever.
Yeah.
It's different, but you got to see what it was really all about right there.
Well, a lot of memories are now leaving the 18th.
Those who play for the people of this city seem to understand the responsibility they have to represent the spirit of this place. But I'm not sure the city realizes how much that spirit imbues us, guides us, drives us, and has allowed us to do the very thing they want us to do. Play like we're from Pittsburgh, no matter the game.
It's morning in Pittsburgh. You see the traffic. People going to their respective jobs, very proud, very driven, very committed. I think, coaching in Pittsburgh, my morning started probably most of the time was me dropping off my kids at the bus stop and then driving from Fox Chapel over to the south side, crossing one of these bridges right here. And just recognizing every day you have a chance to make a difference. Every day you have a chance to get a little bit better. And every day you have a chance to sit back and have perspective at the end of the day, being thankful for what you have, being thankful for where you are, and being thankful for the people you have surrounded yourself with. When you drive and you're in Pittsburgh, good luck. You may get lost. It's not a great grid. But just ask someone, they'll tell you. Get down to Isley's and make a left. Get down to the church and make a right. An incline, coming up the hill. And 3 blocks up, you'll see the house you want on the left-hand side. So, just ask a Pittsburgher. They'll help you.
Doesn't much matter what it is. They're there for what's next.